All right, so let's turn the ship a little bit here and we'll take a look at some of the things you can do. So we got this idea of synergies that we talked about, right, on the left-hand side. And then you got these results over here. So we
That's
say,
right.
we're going to get all this stuff. We're going to have more sales capacity. We're going to have better cross-sell. We're going to have more revenue, more cost. And it's like, okay, well, go ahead and do it now. Okay, well, what do we actually do? And so we picked out 6 areas that we work on most commonly in an M&A situation, and we also see working really well in organizations that do it as well. And these big 6, if you do these things well, you'll be able to get those kind of results on the right-hand side. So number 1, alignment of segments. So making sure that we're actually working with the same definitions and alignment of who we're going to be going after in terms of our customers. Sales role and talent alignment. So as you mentioned before, Michelle, making sure the roles are actually reconciled and they're the same roles, and bringing those together, mapping those and bringing those together, and the talent that goes within them, right? So an account manager may not be an account manager. We have to understand the differences between those. Sales process and cycle definition, particularly as it pertains to cross-sell. So if we have a different sales process, we have a long or short sales cycle, that's going to be harder for us to do the cross-sell correctly. Product and service alignment. So, what does the portfolio look like and what do people have to offer, and being very specific about that. Sales capacity, of course, one of the results. So how do we planfully make sure we're going to get what we're looking for in the M&A situation? And how do we identify what the levers are to pull to actually get us there? And then finally, sales compensation harmonization. So today we're going to hit on the red ones here, because those are some you can dig into right away. And we can certainly talk with you further about the other ones as well, and get into the details on those.
Yeah, what I would love to know is if after today's session, if we should do a follow-up and hit on some of those other areas. As Mark and I were talking about segment, for example, we can do an entire session just on that one alone. So the big point, right? You've got synergies, you've got these results, and there's an assumption you're going to get those results. So what we're are really focused on are the things that we work with companies on, really good key actions that they can take so they can actually realize the results of those synergy expectations.
Okay, so here's the toolbox. Let's get into a framework for how to look at this. A lot of people have heard about revenue roadmap. This works really well in these kind of situations because we need a place to understand how things fit together. And so what you'll see is, as an organization operates well, as it performs well from a growth and sales standpoint, it tends to do well in 4 major competency areas that you see these levels here. So insight, or understanding what's going on in the business and the market; the sales strategy, which is basically the action plan to get to the goal, the big go-to-market plan that includes what we're selling, who we're selling to in terms of our customers, what our value proposition is, our coverage model. So what kind of channels and roles we're using, our sales process, our deployment or territory, feet on the street question. And then finally, the enablement layer, which supports these other areas. So incentive compensation, people, programs, technology. So if you take a look at a little bit more detail on this in terms of these different areas, what you'll see is the big 6 that we talked about here, they sort of hit some of these areas here. So your products and services, the segmentation, your sales structure, your sales process, incentive compensation, talent. So the point is, as you're working on these, you have to make sure that these alignments are all connecting together. So if I'm working on something like incentive compensation or talent, I have to make sure it's responding to the upstream disciplines, the ones that you see at the higher levels here. So having to make sure all these pieces connect together.
Yeah, it's just a really good tool. It helps frame your thinking, and it can also help you prioritize, because there's a lot in here, right? So you can begin to understand, where do I need to start? And for every company, that's going to be different. So one company may have less challenge with products and services, let's say, than their sales process or the talent that they have, right?
Yep.
Yep.